Hello everyone. It has been a while since I've filmed a book haul because ever since we moved to our new place 2 years ago almost now, and a little bit before that because I knew we were getting ready to move, I've been avoiding buying books. Trying to really limit how many books I buy and be very careful about the ones I do choose to buy because we don't have much storage right now. We're working on renovating an old barn to be our house, and our tiny cabins just don't hold a lot. So I've been trying to avoid buying books, but every once in a while I cave and I buy some books, or as in this case, I am given a lot of books. I've been reading through them and then taking them up to our shipping containers where we are storing a lot of our stuff. And I thought that I would show you, since there's actually a significant amount this time, I'm not just, generally it's just 1 or 2 books coming in, maybe 3, and then I don't do a book haul with them. But I have been visiting family, and my grandparents have given me some books, and another grandparent took me to the thrift store to buy some things, and of course I bought books. So I've accumulated some books. I've also used a few thrift books credits, and I don't remember where all these books came from. If I remember, I will let you know. But let's just get into it. There are a lot of books. So the first book is, I think this was in a free box outside of a antique store. This is Listening Valley by D.E. Stevenson. I have not read this. I don't know anything about the author. But I have this book, just a basic green book. The next one is one I picked up from the thrift store when thrifting in Iowa or Indiana, I can't remember. And this is My Father's Daughter by Tina Sinatra with Jeff Copeland, Frank Sinatra's daughter. And it has some pictures, and I don't know, I've been into more biographies and autobiographies lately, and I thought this would be really neat for the photos alone. And I have not read it yet, but I hope to read it soon. This was a thrift books purchase. I had a free book credit that was about to expire, about 8 months ago. And I got this book, Alicia, My Story. I think Brown Paper Packages on Instagram shared this book. I'm pretty sure it was her. It was her or one of the other people I follow on Instagram followed this and highly recommended it. It's about a girl who lived through the Holocaust. And I have this book. I have not read this book yet, but I've heard it's really good. A few people I know have read it. I'm looking forward to reading that. This is another book I got from the thrift store. Speaker's Handbook of Epigrams and Witticisms. I don't know the year on this book. I think it's from the 50s, but it was the person that owned it wrote 1970 in it when they gifted it. But it has a bunch of like quotes and stories and jokes, and it's hilarious. I have loved looking through this book. It would be a great coffee table book. I really enjoy it. I've not read it cover to cover. I just kind of pick it up and read a bit here and there whenever I can. This is a book that used to belong to my Grammy when she was younger. It's a Mother Goose Tell a Tale book. Then I got Mystery at the Old Place by Helen Fuller Orton. I have not read this one, but it's very much the style that I loved as a child. And I'm thinking that my younger sisters, Wisdom and Naomi, would love this book. I haven't read it yet. But the print is fairly large, so it's good for beginning readers, and it sounds really good. So, I love the illustrations in that. That was I think a thrift store book that I got with these other ones, with this next one. Cowboy Sam and Shorty. And Naomi, Naomi apparently started reading this book already because she put her bookmark in it. I didn't know that she had started reading it. This is another easy reader book. Naomi loves to read, so she'll just pick up my books randomly and start reading them. I didn't know that she was reading this one, though. So I'll make sure to leave that one out for her. This one looks like one that, I don't find a lot of books for boys, easy readers that boys would enjoy. And so I picked this one out because Mark Simeon is learning how to read, and I know that he would really enjoy this book. And Azariah loves being read too. So I got that one. I think at that thrift store, I don't remember all the books that came from that thrift store, but at that thrift store, I believe they were like 50 cents for paperback or a quarter for paperback and $1 for hardcover. This one was for my grandma. This is my granddad's book. He had a lot of books, a lot of them set in Kansas. So basically, if these books are set in Kansas, they probably came from her. And this one is called Across the Purple Divide by Harold G. Ross. And he grew up in Junction City, Kansas. And it's a historical novel. So it's fiction. Also for my grandma, I got... I don't know why I'm saying who they're from because, I mean, like, they're both grandmas. But I got A Guide to Field Identification, Birds of North America. I love field guides. So I was very excited to look at this one. And this one has beautiful, beautiful illustrations. This one, I am very, very excited about this one. It's called A Bride Goes West by Nanny Alderson and Helena Huntington Smith. It is also, let me see, this one is set in Montana. I'm very excited about that one. This is Kansas Trivia, compiled by Barbara Brackman. We're originally from Kansas. My parents are also from Kansas, so they grew up there. So it's neat to have all of these Kansas-based books. This one is Games People Play by Eric Byrne, MD. And just a bunch of different kinds of games. The history of games and also just different games to try. Not really looked at this one yet. And it's just a basic black book. This one is called The Family Game Book. So a lot of game books and bird books and stuff. This is a family game book compiled by Robert V. Masters, Doubleday Publishing. I look out for a lot of their books. They published a lot of great books. And this one's like from the 50s. And it's full of poetry and a bunch of games. Indoor games, outdoor games. Really interesting games. As well as some different crafts you can do. So I'm looking forward to looking through that and doing some of the crafts and games with my siblings. This one was in better condition, but it ripped when it got home. This is Winston Churchill, An Informal Study of Greatness by Robert Louis Taylor. I got this because I don't really know much about Winston Churchill. Obviously, I know that he was really involved with the war effort and that he was the prime minister, but aside from the basic facts, I didn't know much about him. So I got this from the thrift store for like $1, and I barely started reading it, and so far it's hilarious. I am loving reading it. He reminds me a lot of my Grandpa Daryl. So Grammy, if you're watching this, you guys need to read this. He would love it. I did look to see if it was on Audible, and it's not, unfortunately. But maybe there would be an audiobook on YouTube or something, because he really does remind me of my grandpa. So I'm barely into that, but I'm really enjoying it. These next ones are very special to me. I started asking, when people gift me books, I've started asking them to write an inscription in the beginning, especially if it was a book that meant a lot to them. And I did that with an easy reader I bought off of eBay, because the seller messaged me saying that she was so glad that I bought it because it was her first book, very first book she received as a child, and then it was her favorite book, and, you know, just some details about it, and I love that so much. I was really touched by that. I love history, and I wanted that history to stay with the book, so I asked her to write that in the book, and, you know, like, if she didn't mind, to write that in the book, and maybe a little inscription, and she did, and I love it so much. I was going to get out for this video. I ended up not doing that, but this is kind of along the same lines. This one is for my Papa Great. It's a bird book he gave me. What's That Bird? A Beginner's Guide. This is one of his books. And He put a little inscription there. I hope that that is focusing. And at the same time, my mama gave me this Betty Crocker cookbook. She was downsizing her cookbooks. And I asked her to do the same. So she put the date in there. I love Betty Crocker books. She put the date in there and wrote a little note in there, which is just precious. I really appreciate that. And this has a bunch of her recipes in it. I'd love to do some cooking videos. So it has Betty Crocker's recipes as well, of course. But then it also has some of her actual recipes written down in the book or tucked into the book. And so this is really precious to me. I love Betty Crocker cookbooks. So these ones are very much keepsakes. I'm very excited about them. This one is also pretty special. It's the Home Tanning and Leather Making Guide by A.B. Farnham. And this one's fun because I remember seeing this in my Grammy's house and looking through it. And she had several copies of this. And it talks all about tanning. Plus my brothers are really into tanning. So this one is just a fun one to have. This one is the Practical Problem Solver, Substitutes, Shortcuts, and Ingenious Solutions for Making Life Easier by the Reader's Digest. And I'm excited. We love books like that. Some more Kansas books because these are all mixed up. I say that, and then the top one's an Alaska book. But this is called Your Alaskan Daughter by Harriet Walker. The back of this says, Adventure called to Harriet Walker. Raised by missionary parents in Sierra Leone, Africa, she married Harold Walker, fully aware of his desire to settle in the Alaskan wilderness. In 1953, 3 months pregnant with their first child, she and Harold answered the call to carve out a new life in America's only remaining frontier, Alaska. Following a harrowing trip over the Alcan Highway, they settled in the tiny village of Hope, nestled between vast snow-capped mountains and a sea. Together, they joined Harold's sister and brother-in-law in a sawmill venture set against the backdrop of the Alaskan Territory's bid to become a new state. And it talks about, you know, these experts from her diary, and it talks about their life there, having children there. Just really neat. Lost Mines and Hidden Treasure by Leland Lovelace, another of my granddad's books. This one is from 1956. True Tales of Old Time Kansas by David Derry. The Ball Bedding Book, a gardening book. The Best-Selling Handbook for America's Pioneers, The Prairie Traveler by Randolph B. Marcy, Captain of the U.S. Army. Includes routes, first aid, recommended clothing, shelter, provisions, wagon maintenance, and the selection of care of horses, information concerning the habits of Indians. Originally published in 1859. My brother's gonna love that one. Oxen, A Teamster's Guide by Drew Conroy. Malachi is really, he has wanted to get oxen for years, so I know he'll really enjoy that. Trail Dust, A Quick Picture History of the Santa Fe Trail by Jean and Mary Martin. It's just like a little pamphlet. The Ghost Postcard Book, 20 Historic World War II Aircraft. So not exactly a book, but it's in with the books. Frontier Iron, The Merrimack Ironworks. The Merrimack Ironworks, 1826 through 1876 by James D. Norris. Oh, I didn't realize that. There are... I thought there was 2 copies of this book. I forgot. I left it in my hand. There's only 1 copy of that book. Corrie ten Boom, He Sets the Captive Free. I love Corrie ten Boom's books. I have not read that one. Rebecca's Diary by Rebecca Pearl. I love this book. I have read it before a couple times. Johnny Tremaine by Esther Forbes. I've also read this one a couple of times and love it, but I didn't have a copy myself. The Diuma Story, Life Under Aqua Spears by by Ethel Emily Wallace. I have also read this book. It was really sad, a hard read, but really good. The Victor Journey Through the Bible. This one. I think this one was for my Grammy. I think she said it was a really good one. This one, I'm very excited. This is the American Girl's Handy Book. My grandma gave this to me, and this was already on my list of books I wanted to collect. So that was really cool. It says Mary Ann Sullivan inside. This is from 1930. How to Amuse Yourself and Others. The American Girl's Handy Book by Lena Beard and Adelia Beard. It has instructions on how to transplant wildflowers, how to cut them, sending flowers by mail, leaves and ferns for decoration, pressed leaves and flowers, how to change the colors of flowers, beautiful illustrations and games with different themes, recipes, poems, so many really neat things that I cannot wait to do and to incorporate into our homeschool. How to paint in oil colors, really cool things. Wax carving, how to model in clay and wax. Really, really neat book. I'm very excited about that. Stone Fox by John Reynolds Gardner. A children's book about a 10-year-old boy named Willie. Faded Dreams, More Ghost Towns of Kansas by Daniel C. Fitzgerald. The Cook's Library Chocolate, a chocolate-themed cookbook. Of course, we will love that. Science Crafts for Kids, 50 Fantastic Things to Invent and Create. They will love that. And these are not books, but somehow they got left in the bottom of the box. There was 5 more. These are toy coins that are like giant actual coins. So this one says 1971. It's a dime. 1916. These are just really fun. We had never seen them before except at my grandma's house. We hadn't seen these before, and my grandma had them. And we were showing a friend them, and he said he grew up with them as a kid, and he hadn't seen them since. So that was really cool. So, have you seen these before? Did you grow up with them? We have like 9 of them. There's a gold coin, a pretend gold coin, of course. A penny. I think there's 2 pennies. So apparently there's 9 of these. I thought there was only 5. But Grandma sent these home with us because Grandma sent these home with us and the kids love them. So some giant coins in there as well. Alright. Hopefully this isn't too long of a video. But we are down to the last 5 books. This is Viking Adventure by Clyde Robert Beulah, illustrated by Douglas Gorsling. A weekly children's reader book club. I have quite a few books from that book club. And the last 4 are kind of a bundle. I grew up reading the Mandy books by Lois Gladys Leopard, and I even tried to write her a letter once. I did write her a letter once, but we couldn't find her address anywhere. And then when I tried to write her a letter again a few years later, I learned she had died. So I missed my chance to do that, and I really wanted to meet her as a child. Never happened. However, I loved her books. Mom and Dad would give me volumes of her books as gifts at various times, and I loved them so much. And I found volumes 7, 8, 9, and 10. So volumes 7 through 10 at the thrift store for $1 each. No, 50 cents each because they were paperback. Less than $1. I don't remember how much they were. Something like that. I found 4 of them in brand new condition. And of course I had to bring them home. Because the ones from when I was younger have been read and reread and reread. And because they're softcover, they don't hold up as well as a hardcover book. So they are very, very ragged. Some of them are missing pages. Several of them are missing pages. And so when I saw these, I knew I had to get them because I want to keep them for my kids. And also my younger siblings that are currently reading through them. Wisdom is reading through them and really loves them. So, I had to get those. I hope they enjoyed this book haul video. It was a lot. It feels crazy to have so many books. I have not done a book haul video in a while. I think this is This might even be the biggest book haul video I've done. I don't know. But I'm really excited about all of these. Thank you to everyone who gave me these books. Because I think I only bought like 2 of these books. And I'm very excited to read them. Hope that you enjoyed this video. I know several of you have missed the book hauls. And so when I got these books, I knew I had to do a book haul video. Yeah, that's it. I will see you next time. Bye.